Alrighty then everyone, it is Dokkan time again, and today I will be doing a how-to build for the Grim Reaper of Justice himself, LR Gotenks. Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Yes, we have another Tech Gotenks, which is, honestly, I'm fine with. I'm fine with him being Tech. My only issue with him is the same issue I have with every Tech and STR unit, virtually, is, they just never need crit, so. Anyways, on the right side of the screen, you will see that there are roll tips. There's 55% build, and there's going to be a dupes build. You can just go ahead and copy paste those, or you can, listen along as I break down the unit, show the roll tips, and explain my my thoughts, show the calculations of attack and defense for this unit. And yeah, please like and subscribe, etc., etc., and let me know if there's any other units you would like me to show you my suggestion on how to build. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get into it. So Gotenks here has several 200% leaders. He's got, obviously, the Second Coming Gohan, LR. He's got Topo, Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku, the Dragon Fist Goku as well, and that's actually kind of about it. He actually is 200% on the 7th Anniversary Gods team, which is good because in 10th Anniversary, this unit right here will be getting their Easy A. And I promise you it's going to be a very good Easy A. So I feel like just being a 200% on this team, ooh boy, they're going to cook. They're going to cook so hard. But anyways, so looking at his leader skill, he is a Carnival unit. So he is a 200% leader specifically for one category. Jiren was the only one that broke the mold on that. 200% for Majin Buu Saga. He greatly raises attack and defense for one turn on 12 key, and he greatly raises attack and defense, and also greatly lowers the enemy's defense on 18 key. He has key plus 7, attack and defense 200, plus another additional defense plus 77% when receiving an attack, and after receiving an attack, plus an additional attack plus 77% within the same turn. You can definitely feel this, by the way. It's a little weird when you put him in slot 2 or 3 because he doesn't receive an attack first. So you will see dramatically kind of lower defense and damage stats if you put him into slot 2 or 3. He does reduce damage received by 22% for 5 turns from his entry turn, so it is technically better for this unit to show up on turn 3 first, or turn 2. Just anything but turn 1 is better. Plus an additional defense plus 77%, and reduces damage received by 33% when there's another final trump card category ally on the team. Fantastic thing. It means it doesn't have to be stuck to the same rotation. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres. Excellent. Plus an additional key plus 1 per key sphere obtained. Nice. Plus an additional attack and defense 100% when key is 12 or more. Plus another additional attack plus 77% and launches an additional super attack when key is 18 or more. So he's got one free additional super. Plus an additional attack plus 77% and performs a critical hit when activating the active skill or when key is 24. People have kind of gone back and forth on this whole thing. And in my experience, when a unit has performs a critical when activating active skill or when key is 24, they're just critting for free on even additionals. It doesn't read like that, but in my experience, they always crit afterwards. Anyways, so 50% chance of an additional defense plus 777% within the same turn when receiving a super attack, which is insane. Reduces damage received by another additional 44% temporarily and counters with ferocious power and receives a key blast when receiving a key blast super attack. So basically speaking, when Gotenks receives a key blast super, he is reducing damage by at least 70%, which is insane. So he is definitely a slot 1 unit in my personal opinion. He does have an active skill also. Super Ghost Kamikaze massively raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy defense plus 77% for 1 turn. So he does get an extra boof of defense on active. I think it's a good thing if we keep this in mind. It means that after the 5 turns after his damage reduction is gone, you can utilize the active skill for 1 more extra turn to get an extra bit of defense. Now, Gotenks is still a very good tank in slot 1, regardless of if he actually loses that damage reduction, he is not needed necessarily. I do still think it would be nice to try and stay within that zone, though. But Gotenks is so kind of overwhelmingly good that he can just probably burst through a lot of fights. His active skill can only be activated after the character receives an attack 3 or more times in battle, or when there is another final trump card category ally attacking in the same turn, starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. He is a Gotenks, so he has generic Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, Link Super Saiyan Fuse Fire, Over in a Flash, Kamehameha, the Instance, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. I will tell you this, if you have Over in the Flash or Fused Fighter activated, either one of them, or at least a supportive Ki +3 on the rotation, you only need about 5 or like 4 or 5 Ki spheres in order to get him at 24 Ki. So the people that are wondering, like, are you ever going to hit 24 Ki? Yeah, you'll hit 24 Ki pretty much every single freaking bloody turn, so long as he has at least one of these links going off, or you have a support unit on the rotation that's giving him a little bit extra Ki. Otherwise, if you don't have Fused Fire, Over in a Flash going off, you'll probably need at least 6+ Ki spheres. Otherwise, it's like 4 or 5, depending on which one is activated. He is on he's on a lot of categories, so he's got a lot of room for improvement in the future. His best link partners is basically going to be himself, is the other Gotenks. That's going to be his best partner, ideally. Unfortunately, these guys are kind of past their prime, but, you know, it is pretty nice that he fully links with them, and he's going to be linking with every other fused fighter-based unit, so, you know, Tech Gogeta and, you know, STR Vegito, Physical Gogeta, every other Gotenks in the game. He's going to link very well with all of them. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and go take a look at his defense and attack calculations. Alright, so here's how we're going to do this. We are going to go ahead and go over Halvard's calculations first, and then we're going to go over Luke's calculations. So, compliments of Halvard. He's got a very long list. He's got a huge list of, you know, calculations to run through here. But at the end of the day, I won't bore you with the technicalities of it. This fool can have up to 15 million defense. Dang! That's a lot. I mean, that's a huge number. 15 mil is crazy. It's primarily when the high chance to proc is activated. That's when the raw amount of his defense really bleeds and pushes through. It's not going to activate every time, but, you know, on the off chance that it does activate, he basically makes Gotenks immortal, and that's not a joke. But, you know, on an average amount, when the coin flip doesn't succeed and you don't have the 777% or the 77% extra defense there, when receiving attack with a final trump card ally, you're at 500k start of turn defense. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, mind you, but it actually is pretty fine. It's pretty fine, at least for the first 5 turns. No matter what, he should be a-okay. And even after that, you should be pretty much okay as well, as long as it's the Ki Blast super. I think that's the one thing you will have to watch out for just a little bit on, like, 3 million super attacks, is that if it's not a Ki-based super, you could be potentially getting caught off guard on this instance because it's a coin flip of the defense buff. But otherwise, I mean, with the 50% damage reduction roughly, or even the 30% or whatever have you, I mean, he's still really cooking with his defense. He's still very solid. He's still very good. I'm not going to say he's actually immortal, because his immortalism is primarily coming with the high chance. That's where his crazy immortalness comes from. You know, people go off of dodge chance of like 3%, 10%, 20% all the time. If you can't depend on a 50% chance to proc to be literally immortal, I think I don't know what to tell you. But his defense is solid. He's solid on the defense numbers there. So let's go ahead and go take a look at Luke's calculations. So turn 2 with an Ulton, you know, we're looking at damage of up to 33 million on the 18 key super, and then with an additional super at 21 mil. Counters of his super attack counters can go up to about 20 million and 40+ million, depending on how many super attacks are coming at him. Very unlikely to happen, but, you know, the potential is there. And then, of course, his defense's numbers are very similar to Halvard's. So, you know, when hits, 500, 600k defense with some standard support, high chance to proc makes him immortal. And then turn 4, he can be on kind of weird, like, he's not like a crazy amount of attack. You can see that his attack kind of scales up and down based on his links and his support. The support does make a huge difference, as you can see, while being supported with Ultimate Gohan 33 mil. But if you don't have that support, really, the damage drops to about a 25 million point. So his damage isn't crazy, but it's not bad either. It's actually really good in my personal opinion. But on turn 6, you know, so this is after he loses part of his damage reduction. Dragon Fist support, plus active and a tech UI domain. You can see his damage go up to 27 million. But the thing about this rotation is you're not putting Gotenks in slot 1. So that's why his damage is lower, but his defense can climb up to a ridiculous height. That is just absolutely insane. Like I said, in my personal opinion, Gotenks is a slot 1 unit primarily. It's just you can get a little dicey depending on who you're fighting in slot 1 if your RNG isn't good enough. So, with that all being said on his defense and attack calculations, let's go ahead and get into his build and over his roll tips. So, for the 55% build, I'm honestly suggesting for you to either just give him dodge or additional. You choose either or, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Either way, I'm probably going to go... personally, I would probably go for additional, just for the off chance of a 14% chance to additional super, get more defense, get more damage, etc., etc. And as far as a dupes build goes, it's still sticking along with additional or dodge. If you can put in a dual orb, additional and dodge, if you can. If not otherwise, just pick one or the other of additional or dodge. But I would kind of highly suggest just giving him straight up additional. I don't really see a purpose to focus on dodge. I think that's just overkill. Gotenks is pretty freaking crazy as it stands right now at the current state of the game. It might be a hot minute before I can really suggest dodge. Though, I mean, I could be a little realistic and to say that he could still potentially have some form of defensive weakness. I can't see it right now at the time of release. I think additional is the way to go, but you do you. This is only a suggestion. Either way, at the end of the day, I probably do suggest a defense orb. No matter what way I look at Gotenks, he is still straight up a kind of more defense-based unit. His damage is good, but it's not like, you know, his defense is not, his damage is not crazy. We have like Tech Broly doing 50 to 60 million damage. AGL Jiren, who is coming out at the same time as this guy tonight or tomorrow, whatever, or, you know, at the same time in general on global, does 40 mil for free almost. So, I mean, he doesn't do a crazy amount of damage, but he does very good damage still compared to the majority of the units in the game. But because of how high his defense numbers are, I feel that he is primarily a defensive unit. But moving on to the roll tips. So roll tips, once again, like I said, I kind of suggest him to be more of a defensive type-esque unit. He is a Carnival unit. His best leaders are these 3 200% options. It doesn't mean these are the only ones. These are just the 200% choices I am suggesting to you personally. He himself is one of his best leaders, the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and then Topo. Yes, everybody keeps forgetting about Special Pose, but Topo Mustachman is definitely one of the best leaders to be running him under, just because there's so much support in the Special Pose category, specifically with Int LR Ginyu and the Int LR Gammas as well. As far as a partner goes, I would highly suggest just linking him either with Super Saiyan 3 Goku or the Int Gotenks that can transform up to Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Otherwise, on some other teams, you could definitely kind of use a partner such as like the STR Vegito or the Fizz Gogeta. He will be having not all, but a majority of his links going off with all of these guys right here. And like I said, his best slot position is definitely going to be in slot 1. You get extra defense and attack based on him being attacked first or before attacking. You can definitely throw him into slot 2 or 3 after he loses that damage reduction if you're feeling squeamish about him. But honestly, I think for the majority of fights and scenarios, he should be fine in slot 1. So that's going to be it, everybody. Appreciate you watching this video. Please do tell me, what team are you going to rock this Gotenks on? Are you even going to summon for him? Or are you skipping him and waiting for 10th anniversary? And also let me know how you did build him. Remember, all of my suggestions are, well, suggestions. All my builds are suggestions. That's just how I roll with it. That's all I want to do. I just want to try and help you all out. Help me help you. So, anyways, everyone, thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.